I would like to greet you all at the beginning of my remarks here today. We are here in Rize for the inauguration of this great project that is going to facilitate the easy flow of traffic and shorten the routes in the vicinity of Rize. We're talking about a 3-kilometer long Salarha Tunnel. May this tunnel be auspicious for our country and for our city of Rize. The eastern part of the Black Sea is developing with speed, with its industries, with its commerce, and with the increasing attraction created by our university. The traffic has increased in the region. Following the OİK Tunnel, yesterday we inaugurated İdere-İkizdere Highway and Hurmalık Tunnel, and these great infrastructure projects will increase the connectivity of the region with the Caucasus and with the south of our country. İdere Logistics Port and the Rize Artvin Airport that we are building on the sea will also contribute to the facilitation of transportation in the region. With the Salarha Tunnel, we will be accommodating a very important part of this traffic, and the traffic will no longer go through the city, but will go through the ring road. We connect the valley and the shoreline with this tunnel, and this tunnel has been a dream for Rize for the last 70 years. Thanks to this tunnel, we are shortening the routes. In the past, it was 14 kilometers, and it took half an hour to get from one side of the mountain to the other, but now we're talking about 4.5 kilometers in total, and we're talking about a mere 5 minutes to cross this distance. Our citizens will be able to go fast, in a safe manner, in a comfortable manner, and in an economical manner as well. And transit passengers will no longer lose time, and they will be saving on fuel as they travel to their destinations. Now, this tunnel was made possible thanks to the hard work of our ministry, our institutions, and the contractor company, as well as engineers and laborers who worked day and night for this project. They deserve our compliments. The cutting of the ribbon, hopefully during the cutting of the ribbon I will be joined with you, dear children. We are here today for the inauguration, or actually the groundbreaking ceremony for yet another substantial project. Merkez Çarşı Neighborhood Urban Transformation Project will help transform this part of the town. We will be revamping the areas that were built in the 1950s. This commercial district, we're talking about 70 years that have passed, and this area is quite full of need and is falling short of answering the needs of people. With the projects that we have devised, 118 shops, 184 office spaces, and 60 housing units will be demolished, and in their stead we will be building new office spaces and commercial units that will befit our beautiful city of Rize. The total value is 308 million Turkish lira, and as part of this project, 404 office units, 133 office spaces, and a car park will also be built. Now, once this project is completed, the region, just like in the past, will be a center of attraction in terms of commerce and work in the city of Rize. May this urban transformation project be auspicious for our city as well as the right holders in the region. Our Ministry of Urbanization, Collective Housing Agency, and the contractor companies that undertook this project deserve our thanks. And dear brothers, dear sisters, Earthquakes, floods, and landfalls are risks in this part of the world. And after catastrophes, what we do is we carry out the necessary work to address the wounds of our people. We make sure that we rebuild buildings that are demolished because of these catastrophes. Now, floods and landfalls are also quite a big threat in the Black Sea region. Recently in Rize, we have sadly experienced catastrophes of this kind. In places like Antalya and Muğla, where we suffered forest fires, in Kastamonu, Sinop, we suffered floods that have wreaked havoc, and we are also doing our best to dress the wounds of our people there. And inshallah, we will be visiting these places soon in order to inspect the projects that are underway. Dear youngsters, 81 provinces of our nation, each and every one of them are indelible pieces of our heart. Now, taking this opportunity, we wanted to come to Rize, and we know that catastrophes have happened recently, and in the districts of Rize, in the villages of Rize, damage control studies have been completed. We rolled up our sleeves to do whatever is necessary. 378 disaster housing units, 10 shops, and 4 tea processing plants are being constructed. We will also be increasing the number of housing units. 500 more will be built. Now, with the entirety of the Black Sea, one of the most important problems in Rize is unplanned urbanization, and we have taken steps to combat that. We have started the areas where sea was filled. We will be demolishing at-risk areas and rebuilding these buildings, and today's inauguration is but one of such projects. Hopefully there will be many more in the future. And also for tourism, in order to increase the attraction of Rize, we have actually initiated a series of reforms. Former industrial zones are being carried elsewhere in a bid to stop air pollution, and for the construction of housing units and offices, we know that there's a scarcity, and the Çaykur industrial zone, the 18-hectare area, will house more than 1,000 housing units, 300 office spaces. We will be commencing this project. The tender process will be initiated shortly. With the opening of the tunnel, the city of Rize will continue to grow in the direction of Salarha with no impediments. In Salarha, 465 housing units are being constructed, 12 shop areas will be constructed, and hopefully these will be handed over to their proprietors next year. In Hemşin as well, housing projects are gaining momentum. The collective housing agency, TOKİ, has been running campaigns all across the nation, and we are doing our best to increase the share of Rize within this process. These houses will be built by taking into account the nature of Rize and also the traditional agricultural norms in Rize. Thanks to TOKİ, in Rize, 2,700 houses have been completed, and more than 2,000 houses are being built as we speak. The national gardens in 3 different locations are being built in Rize. At the center of Rize, again, in İdere, Güneysu, national parks of considerable size are being built. One of the most important symbols of our city, Ayder Highlands, will also be targeted, and this highland will be protected and is being designated as a sensitive area that will be protected with great attention and care. Ayder'in wastewater facility, irrigation water, electricity lines, lighting, and other roads will be renewed in Ayder. Our forefathers, our great fathers, our fathers have bequeathed us a paradise like Rize, and that's what we need to bequeath to our children and our grandchildren. We need to make sure that Rize is much more beautiful compared to the past. That is incumbent on us. Dear brothers, dear sisters, dear youngsters, we also need to take into account the needs of the age that we're living in, the demands of our people. We need to also strike the right balance between these needs and demands and the requirements of protection of nature. Global warming or climate crisis has renewed the importance of natural riches such as Rize. That's why we're going to take ownership of these riches. In the past, unfortunately, we were beset by selfishness and greed and ignorance when it comes to construction, but we're never going to let that happen ever again in Rize. Let us not forget, there is no other Rize, there is no other Black Sea region, and there is no other Turkey. For this, we need to be cognizant of the beauties that we have at hand. We need to be cognizant of the potential that we have at hand. And as a son of Rize, I pledge that I will do my utmost best to make sure that we protect Rize and we increase the beauty of Rize. And inshallah, with you and with the entire region and with the entire nation, just like in the last 19 years in the run-up to 2023 and beyond as well, we will continue to serve this nation and we will continue to turn our dreams into reality. Dear brothers and sisters, there are certain people in Turkey, every time they open their mouths, they question what we have done in the last 19 years. You know who is asking this question, right? This question can only be entertained by those who only by those who can't have lived in this country, because everyone living in Turkey knows the progress that we have made. The entire nation bears witness to the progress that we have achieved in the Black Sea region, from Samsun to Artvin, and also until the border. We all know what we have accomplished. Is that not the case? Let's leave all of that aside. We also know what we have done for Rize. Is that not the case? And here today, what are we doing? On the one hand, yesterday, yes, at Hurmalık we opened the tunnel, and today we are here to inaugurate the Salarha Tunnel. Alhamdulillah. This is the accomplishment that we have achieved. Did we have such tunnels before in the past? Did we have viaducts in the past? So now we are inaugurating these. That's why this Mr. Kemal and Republican People's Party, their electorate, I would like to call out to them and invite them to come to Rize and see what has been achieved. They have done nothing for this country. Those who are younger than the age of 30, 35, maybe these youngsters cannot remember Turkey of the past, but at least I'm sure they have heard about it from their elders. Those who question what we have done in the last 19 years are simply jealous, and they simply harbor ill will towards our accomplishments. But just to make sure, when it comes to serving the nation, let us remember, let us refresh our memories what we have done in the last 19 years. In education, number of classrooms were increased to more than 600,000. With the latest assignments and appointments yesterday in Istanbul, 20,000 new teachers have been appointed. And 700,000 new teachers have started working. The number of universities increased from 67 to 207. Number of staff increased from 70,000 to 181,000. Number of university students increased from 1.5 million all the way up to 8 million. In healthcare, number of hospital beds increased from 164,000 to more than a quarter of a million. Specialized beds from 19,000 to 160,000. And 17 city hospitals have been operationalized, and as such, the quality of service in healthcare increased tremendously. In youth, in sport, number of community centers for youngsters increased from 9 to 300. Number of gymnasiums, 1,500 to 3,000. A number of dormitories, the capacity of beds from almost 200,000 to 700,000, a total amount of scholarships for undergrad students from 45 lira to 650 lira, for graduate students from 90 lira to 1,300 lira, and for PhD students from 135 lira all the way up to 1,900 lira. This is what we accomplished in education, none other than us. In the last 19 years, a total of 400,000 billion was spent in social aid. In justice, 9,000 was the number of prosecutors and judges. Now we have 21,000 in total. Number of courthouses, 144. In administrative law, again, we increased the numbers tremendously. In Ministry of Interior, our mayorships and our district administrations were fortified, and the gendarmerie is now a part of the Ministry of Interior. That increased coordination in homeland security. In national defense, our border security was protected thanks to the Shield of Euphrates, Peace Spring, and Shield of Spring, and we stopped the terrorist corridor that aimed at attacking us from the south. In transportation as well, we made great strides. We increased divided roads to 28,200 kilometers, and as for highway length, we increased it to 3,500 kilometers. Number of tunnels was 83. Now we're talking about 400 tunnels, and the length of tunnels from 50 kilometers to 617 kilometers, and the length of bridges and viaducts from 300 kilometers to 710 kilometers. In railways as well, a total the total length of fast trains were increased, and also we renewed almost the entirety of our railway network. In aviation, we had 26 airports, and right now we have 56 airports in total. And now, with Rize and Artvin, a new airport is being built here, and inshallah, this will be completed by the end of this year. And likewise, please send my greetings. Now, in maritime industries, number of shipbuilding yards was increased, and yachts and docking capacity was increased substantially as well throughout the course of the last 19 years. In communication technologies, in 2002, only 3,000 broadband subscriptions existed. Right now, 84 million is the number, and also we substantially increased in urbanization. In 79 cities, we have rolled up our sleeves to inaugurate further national gardens. Our collective housing agency built 1 million houses in Turkey, and 2.5 million houses have been transformed in the meantime. In agriculture, in 2002, 37 billion was our agricultural throughput, but as of last year, this stood at 333 billion lira. In the last 19 years, our farmers received 165 billion lira worth of agricultural support and incentives. Our forests, in 2002, we were talking about 21 million hectares. Now we're talking about 23 million hectares. In foreign relations, in 2002, we had 163 representation offices across the world. Now we have 253. As such, we have the 5th largest representation across the world when it comes to our representation abroad. In defense, in 2002, 62 was the defense projects that were underway. Right now, we have 750 such projects that are being implemented. In industry, in organized zones, the number increased to 325. We had 22. We set up 79 technoparks in energy. Installed capacity from 31,800 megawatts to 98,162 megawatts. That is what we achieved. In the Black Sea region, we have work to do. In the Black Sea region, Tuna 1 well and Amasra 1 well revealed large swathes of cubic meters of natural gas reserves. These have been explored recently. In culture and tourism, we increased the number of our World Heritage Sites from 9 to 19, and number of cultural centers from 42 to 120. And our Director General of Foundations restored a total of, increased the number to 5,000. That's the total amount of restored buildings and places of interest. So, no matter how hard we try to summarize our accomplishments in the last 19 years, it would take hours to cite all our accomplishments. It would take days and days and days. As the older generations would say, People die and what they accomplished remain. Donkeys die and their saddles remain. We will always communicate and talk through our accomplishments, what we have accomplished. In the upcoming period, we are hoping to serve our nation even more and achieve even greater successes. And as the People's Alliance in unity and in harmony, we will be readying ourselves for the 2023 elections. Are we readying ourselves for the 23 elections? Are we together? Are we at one? Will we stand up against division? We're never going to let division take hold in this country. All together we will be one. We will stand up tall. We will stand up strong. We will stand up in a spirit of fraternity, and we will take ownership of our country all together. Let us not forget one nation, one flag, one state, one homeland. All together we will be Turkey. Dear brothers and sisters, we have experienced a series of social and political attacks, and we also were tested through a series of catastrophes. If one of these catastrophes had taken place in another country, or if we had experienced these in the past, believe me, Turkey would not be able to weather these storms. But thankfully, we have been able to weather these storms. Now it is time to rebuild. It is time to continue on our path. In industry, we are going to increase the number of organized zones to 300. That's what we accomplished. And we had 22 industrial zones. Now we have 79 technopark. That's what we accomplished. Our installed capacity in energy from 31,000 megawatts to 98,000 megawatts. That's what we achieved. Dear brothers, dear sisters, this nation, let us not forget, is a great nation. And the sons and daughters of Rize, with the grace of God, will not let the opposition or remnants of terrorists to take hold in this country, to reign supreme in this country. Is that not the case? Yes, every time we embarked on a journey, we triumphed in the end, and we will triumph in the future as well. With these sentiments, once again, I would like to greet you all with my deepest regards. And with these sentiments, I would like to bid you farewell. And now let us get connected to the inauguration ceremony. And I kindly ask our ministers and members of the parliament to come and join us on the stage.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'a konuşmaları için çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız öncelikle telekonferans sistemiyle Rize Merkez Çarşı Mahallesi Kentsel Dönüşüm ve Gelişim Projesi ofis ve iş yeri inşaatı temel atma törenine bağlanıyoruz izninizle. Karşımızda Çevre ve Şehircilik Bakanımız Sayın Murat Kurum, Rize Milletvekilimiz Sayın Muhammed Avcı, TOKİ Başkanımız Sayın Ömer Bulut, Rize Belediye Başkanımız Sayın Rahmi Metin, İl Bank Genel Müdürü Sayın Yusuf Büyük bulunmakta. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız izninizle öncelikle projeyle alakalı hazırlanan öncelikle 2 dakikalık bir film var. Hep birlikte filmi izliyoruz. Buyurunuz lütfen.
Şehir medeniyetin doğduğu yer olduğu kadar aynı zamanda medeniyeti şekillendiren de bir yerdir.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımızın liderliğinde güvenli yarınlar hedefiyle yola çıktığımız kentsel dönüşüm projelerimizle